Hey everybody, welcome to my first episode of Boring is the New Exciting.
So boring. So awesome.
I'm an accountant from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and my kids told me today that CTV News made me into Indiana Jones. So let's take a look at how CTV News made me into Indiana Jones according to my children.
One COVID rule is still universal. To get on a plane, you need to be vaccinated.
Oh, I love that head bob there, and it's very interesting that she said one rule is universal. It's universal. That's a universal rule.
One COVID rule is still universal.
COVID rule is still universal. I didn't know that was a rule across the universe, but let's keep
To get
watching.
on a plane, you need to be vaccinated.
Head bob. I like how she buttons it up with a head bob there, just to add authority to that. So let's keep watching.
A few convoy protesters may have dodged that directive is now under investigation.
So she says the fact that some may have dodged that is under investigation. Wow. Okay, well, let's take a look at how that came to be.
CTV senior political correspondent Glenn McGregor with the exclusive
A senior political correspondent, CTV's senior political correspondent, Glenn McGregor.
details.
Most protesters who joined the so-called Freedom Convoy arrived in
The so-called Freedom Convoy. All right, let's keep listening to this. When someone calls you so-called, it's like, like let's say you won a first place or a gold. This is the so-called gold medalist winner at the Olympics. You obviously don't believe them, so let's keep watching.
Ottawa after a grueling highway drive.
Okay, so they had a grueling highway drive to Ottawa.
But a small number had an easier trip on a private chartered aircraft.
So truckers drove to Ottawa to protest, but some of them had an easier trip on a chartered plane. This is not apples to apples here. There were not truckers that flew out on a plane to protest.
CTV News has learned that Transport Canada is now looking into whether a flight to the capital with protest supporters aboard breached rules requiring most air travelers be vaccinated. Transport Canada has been made aware of the incident and is following up with the air operator to ensure compliance, the department said in a statement.
Transport Canada has been made aware of the incident. Well, I'm going to go back to my emails. I got an email from Glenn McGregor, glenn.mcgregor@bellmedia.ca. It says, I'm a reporter with CTV National News. I notice you'd post a video about the aircraft you and Dwayne Leach traveled on to Ottawa last month. Could you call me at 613-290-8167? Thanks, Glenn McGregor. I reply to him. Hello, Glenn. Hope you're well. Please forward me your questions about this issue. Hi, Chad. Thanks for the reply. I understand from your video that you and Dwayne Leach did not, contrary to his testimony at his wife's bail hearing, travel to Ottawa on February 2nd, 2022 on a private jet, he puts in quotes. I also understand that you and others actually flew aboard an aircraft chartered from Northern Air Charters, Inc. Of course, many of you may remember that they were reporting that Tamara's husband was flown out in luxury on a private jet financed by like our version of their George Soros or Bill Gates. Now that they found out that we don't have their version of George Soros or Bill Gates, they're making this about something else now. So can you tell me how this travel was arranged with Northern Air? Also, Mr. Leach mentioned that someone named Joseph, in quotes, paid for this flight. Is that correct? And if so, do you know who this person is? Further, can you tell me what steps Northern Air took to ensure you or other passengers had received COVID vaccinations? Did they ask you to show proof of vaccination before boarding? Also, did you return to Regina aboard a Northern Air charter flight? Thanks, Glenn McGregor. I did not respond to this email. So let's continue on with this report, this exclusive report.
At a bail hearing last month for protest organizer Tamara Leach, her husband Dwayne told the court he'd come to Ottawa aboard a private jet. But according to another passenger on the flight, Leach was mistaken.
I can tell you right now that plane was not a super powerful private jet that propelled us through space and time to get there in luxury.
Chad Eros is an accountant from Saskatchewan.
That's right. I am an accountant from Saskatchewan, which by all rights should make me one of the most boring people in the world, but apparently, according to CTV, I am now the Indiana Jones of accounting.
Who helped coordinate GoFundMe donations to the convoy.
I helped coordinate donations to the convoy. Not true. I didn't help coordinate donations to the convoy. I was asked to help communicate with GoFundMe in a way that would help them release money to the fundraising organizers so that they could use the funds according to their intended purposes. That's pretty much all I was initially asked to do.
He said he arranged for a small twin turboprop to bring a team of lawyers to help the protesters.
So this guy just said that I arranged for this all to happen. I can see here there's a video coming up where I am about to explain the miracle of how we even came upon this airline or this flight. Let's take a look. So you notice that people started laughing in the crowd that I was talking to there because I just finished talking about how I talked to a friend in the U.S. who told me that a mutual friend of ours was in Ottawa, and then I phoned that mutual friend and he told me that someone across the hall from him was had flown out on a chartered airplane, and so it was basically a miracle that we even found a way out in the first place. So I never did brag about how I arranged for a chartered plane. I actually talked about how it was a miracle that we even found a way out there in the first place.
In fact, Transport Canada says the mandate applies to passengers on charter flights too. Eros described a flight path with multiple stops that corresponds to the...
Now, here's the super awesome Indiana Jones part. This is where they make our super boring plane ride out to Ottawa look like the most exciting thing in the whole entire world. So this is awesome. Thank you, CTV News, for making me a hero to my kids.
The route taken by a Beach King Air turboprop.
Computer animation. Somebody actually took the time to make this computer animated video. This is sweet.
That flew from Calgary to Edmonton, to Medicine Hat, where Dwayne Leach lived, then to Saskatoon, and a detour to Regina, where Eros boarded.
Wow.
Before heading to Winnipeg, Thunder Bay, and finally Ottawa.
Whoa, let's take a look at that. The plane went from Calgary to Edmonton, then to Medicine Hat, then to Saskatoon, then to Regina, then Winnipeg, then Thunder Bay, then Ottawa. This is phenomenal. Let's replay this with Indiana Jones theme song that we're gonna splice in. So here we go. Let's go right from the beginning here. I love it. Here we go.
To passengers on charter flights too. Eros described a flight path with multiple stops that corresponds to the route taken by a Beach King Air turboprop that flew from Calgary to Edmonton, to Medicine Hat, where Dwayne Leach lived, then to Saskatoon, and a detour to Regina, where Eros boarded, before heading to Winnipeg, Thunder Bay, and finally Ottawa. The operator of that aircraft, a company in Peace River, Alberta, would not respond to multiple requests for comment from CTV News.
I just read you the kind of emails this guy sends to people, and he's saying nobody would respond to me.
After being released on bail, Leach left Ottawa for Medicine Hat in a pickup truck, not on a private plane.
She left in a pickup truck, not on a private plane. Yeah, she also didn't get out there on a private plane either. What does that have to do with anything? I like how these people button up their thought just to like lead you down this path of Like, you know, maybe she came out in style, but she's leaving in a pickup truck, you know, because now she's all humbled and beaten up by the system, right? So
The potential penalties for breaking the vaccine mandate run as high as $5,000 per passenger and $25,000 for the air carrier that flies them. Glenn McGregor, CTV News, Ottawa.
Glenn McGregor, CTV News, Ottawa. And you wouldn't want anybody to get that $5,000 fine, or you wouldn't want the airline to get that $15,000 fine. Would you, Glenn McGregor? Thanks for that email asking me those questions. And just for your viewing enjoyment, let's actually watch the Indiana Jones scene that they ripped off to make me the Indiana Jones of accountants. Here we go. There's me going to sleep on the plane. Here we go to Ottawa, folks. Going to provide some accounting advice. Chad is the Indiana Jones of accountants. Thank you, CTV. Appreciate that. All right, everybody. Welcome to my first episode of Boring is the New Exciting. This is Chad Ross, the Indiana Jones of accountants, signing out. Thank you, CTV News. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
So boring, so awesome.